A top diplomat at the Rwandan embassy in Washington is accused of spying on a St. Mary's University Zoom class last month.
The story about the cyber intrusion with a San Antonio twist broke earlier this week, but who were they spying on and why? St. Mary's University believes the spy snuck into the class to keep tall on Paul Rusesabagina's son, a student here, and other family members who were attending the class. Rusesabagina, known for saving lives during the country's 1994 genocide, Don Cheadle portrayed him in the movie Hotel Rwanda.
Rusesabagina, a vocal critic of Rwanda's current government, later became a U.S. citizen and San Antonio resident. Last summer, he was kidnapped during a trip overseas and awaits trial in solitary confinement in Rwanda. Viewed by many as a hero of human rights, international efforts to get him released continue. In the meantime, his family says spying by Rwandan diplomats amounts to nothing more than harassment and intimidation.
Well, Daniel Villanueva is a veteran sports producer here at KSAT. He actually put this story together for us, joins us from home to debrief the story. Thanks for joining us, Daniel.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Good morning.
Good morning, Daniel. So how does a longtime sports producer in San Antonio stumble upon a story like this?
Well, actually, I've been trying to talk to Mr. Rusesabagina for years when I learned that he and his family were living here. And I had reached out to his people, and it just never worked out where we could meet and talk. But it was only upon doing this interview that I realized that how they take privacy so seriously. You know, they try to stay away from the spotlight, and the reason why is because they feel that the family is being spied on by Rwanda. So when I saw the press release saying that the classroom discussing his arrest and trial was going on, and that they were spied on, I immediately jumped on that because I had been following his career for such a long time.
So to recap, who exactly do we think this diplomat was spying on? Who all was in this Zoom class when this happened?
Well, the class was mainly made up of one professor and his class, and the guest speaker being the daughter of Paul. But his son also attends St. Mary's and was in the class as well. If you ask the family, they believe that the children were the intended targets, that they were the ones being spied on. But if you talk to the professor and one of the students we talked to, they feel the class as a whole was the one targeted because of what they were talking about. Being spied on and being followed is nothing new to the family. But because of what they were talking about, and included in that the effort to try to free Paul from Rwanda, they believe it's the subject matter in which that they were being spied on. That's why they are taking this so seriously at St. Mary's, because the fact that a foreign diplomat would spy or listen in on a class uninvited, I mean, it's appalling.
And speaking of that, tell us more about this alleged spy.
The diplomat, according to his LinkedIn, and that's how they found him because he used his real name, is a second counselor at the Rwandan embassy. And according to the family, this is a man that they know. This is a man that has followed their father for years. And so that's how they recognized him. They saw the name, and the mother was actually there. She happened to be in the class also that day. She recognized the name right away, and she's the one that pointed him out. And that's how they realized who this was. The name is very, very familiar to the family. There's a person who's been following Paul for years.
Daniel, what was the reaction from classmates and the school when they found out about being spied on?
The class as a whole, there's a lot of them that feel intimidated and scared because they go to school to feel safe. They go to school to have an open discussion about things and don't think they should have to check themselves to see what they're talking about. The fact that somebody was listening in, it scared a number of students, but it also has forced a couple of them to want to get involved in this even more because of what has happened. So some feel very intimidated and are kind of shying away from this. Others want to get involved even more.
And that's understandable. All right, Daniel Villanueva, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Daniel.